The greatest thing that comes out of the Articles of Confederation is going to be the NorthWest Ordinance. So we're going to write that out. NorthWest Ordinance. And the NorthWest Ordinance comes from our Articles of Confederation. So we're going to talk about how it is a complete and utter failure. It is a disaster. But this NorthWest Ordinance we need to take note of because it is the best thing that comes out of it. And what does the NorthWest Ordinance do? Why is it so important to us? Because it sets up the process for a territory to become a state. If you remember, the United States does not just stop at where the 13 colonies were. If we had our map, and we're just going to draw it real quick, we don't have to draw it very big, bloop, 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 right there. If we have our map right there, we know here's my Appalachian Mountains, right? On my Appalachian Mountains, I know that I have the 13 states right here. The 13 states are on this side. We also have the Mississippi River going right here. Well, the United States doesn't stop at the Appalachian Mountains. The United States goes all the way to the Mississippi River. So we have all of this land right here, and the question becomes, well, who owns it? Is it a part of the states? Do they get to claim it, or do they get to become their own? And so we're going to be looking at that area that they wanted in that French and Indian War, which is right here. Everybody circle that right there. That area right there is called the NorthWest Territory. Now, I promise you, this will be on STAR. It is on STAR every single year. Sometimes it's identifying the NorthWest Territory. Sometimes it's understanding that it's the process for a territory to become a state. Sometimes it's knowing what that process is, and we're going to do that in just a second. But pay attention to where it is, because the United States stops at the Mississippi River. This is my NorthWest Territory. Please, 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 do not be that kid on STAR that chooses Washington. That's not a part of the United States yet. All of this is not yet a part of the United States. The United States goes from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River. This right here is our USA. So that's what makes it the NorthWest Territory. Now, this process for territories to become states. This idea starts under the Articles of Confederation and the NorthWest Ordinance, and we're going to continue it when we write the Constitution. That's why we go from 13 states to 50 states. They don't just decide, hey, I want to join. They have to go through this process. There's a few things that they'll have to do and guarantee within those territories to become states. Article 1 of the Articles of Confederation says that you have to guarantee freedom of religion. We have been talking about freedom of religion since the colonists. This is so important to them. We're going to continue that idea when we have the First Amendment in our Constitution. It goes all the way back to our colonies. It goes into the Articles of Confederation. It'll then get added into our Constitution. Article 2 in the Articles of Confederation says that you have to guarantee civil liberties, basic freedoms to the people, trial by jury, the basic liberties that the people should have. Because remember, they knew what life was under the king, and they didn't want that again. And so in the territories, they wanted to make sure that the territories would guarantee those things too. Article 3 wants those territories to provide a public education. This is huge. The colonists in New England were big on public education, making sure that people could read and were educated, making sure that our territories and the people there have an education because knowledge is power. And our representatives knew that. They had the knowledge to break away. All right, number 4, Article 4, says you have to remain a part of the United States. You cannot decide later that you want to break up, that you want to leave. Once you join, you are in it forever. Article 5 says that you have to reach a population of 60,000 people in the state before you can apply for statehood. And then Article 6, this was a big one. This is the one that's going to cause the arguments, is it is going to say no slavery. It is going to forbid slavery within that area. And so this is really what we start to see with that conflict between the North and South, where it's gonna start to simmer over this NorthWest ordinance. That conflict of no slavery, and the South is going, what do you mean? Because they had their economic systems. They said their economic systems relied on it, that it should be the choice of the people. And this issue is going to come into play as we add more and more states.